December 20th, 1968. Lake Herman Road, Northern California. A freezing winter night covered the empty road with silence. The wind moved through the trees, and the darkness seemed endless. No one knew that this ordinary night was about to become the beginning of one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. Inside a Park Chevrolet sat 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen. It was one of their first dates. They laughed quietly, talked about school, and dreamed about the future. For them, this was simply a peaceful Friday night together. But they were not alone. Somewhere beyond the headlights, hidden behind the darkness and the trees, someone was watching. A silent figure waited patiently, unseen and completely unknown. A vehicle approached and stopped nearby. Moments later, an unknown man stepped out and walked toward the couple's car. There were no loud arguments, no warning signs, and no time to react. Then, suddenly, gunshots shattered the silence. David was shot near the car. Betty ran into the darkness, desperately trying to escape, but the killer followed. Within seconds, the quiet road turned into a scene of unimaginable horror. When police arrived, the road was silent once again. David lay near the vehicle. Betty was found farther away, where she had fallen while trying to flee. The killer had vanished into the darkness without leaving a name. Detectives searched for footprints, fingerprints, witnesses, and any clue that could identify the murderer. But the evidence was frustratingly limited. Every answer seemed to disappear into the cold California night. At first, investigators believed it might be an isolated double murder, a tragic crime committed by an unknown attacker. No one imagined that this case would soon become connected to a series of terrifying attacks across Northern California. The killer left no signature at the scene. No message, no symbol. Only fear. And a question that would haunt investigators for decades. Who had murdered David and Betty? And why? 7 months later, the same unseen killer would contact the newspapers himself. He would send letters, ciphers, and a terrifying new name. The world would soon know him as the Zodiac. The following morning, the terrible news spread across California. Families were devastated. Friends were left in shock. 2 innocent teenagers had left home for a simple date and never returned. Newspapers quickly reported the double murder. Across Northern California, people began asking the same question. Who could commit such a brutal crime against 2 innocent teenagers? Weeks turned into months. Detectives followed every lead, questioned every witness, and searched for every possible suspect. But every investigation ended the same way. There was no killer, only unanswered questions. For nearly 7 months, everything went quiet. No letters, no phone calls. No new victims. Many believed the killer had disappeared forever, but evil had not disappeared. It was only waiting. And on the night of July 4th, 1969, the nightmare would begin again. Police believed the killer had disappeared forever. They were wrong. Just months later, a single phone call and a series of terrifying letters would introduce America to a name it would never forget: the Zodiac.